Hey kids, it's Mrs. Hoffman. I'm here with another video to help you with your research, citation, observations, and your first trial if you haven't already get started. So here we go. We talked a little bit about research in the last video, and I had some questions come in about how to cite your research. So my best information for that would be in your research section. Sorry, I'm going to turn to the back where I've labeled it research. So I'm skipping all this, skipping here. I would say after you've written your research or it's typed, just at the bottom you can write citations and then just write the website or whatever resource you got under here, so we're able to see. So if I'm looking on this citation here, I would just write this website down. So for third graders, just listing the website would be good enough. If you're really looking to do a proper citation, you can go to, oh, there's an interruption. You can go to easybib.com and that'll help you, but that's more middle school and high school. So a lot of us have already started turning in the research. I know that I've printed off some for students, and we can just glue that in. I wanted to talk about our first trial. As you can see, we've gotten started with ours. I put another video on on YouTube where you could actually see some pictures in our trials. Getting started with your trials is okay. Go ahead and start trial number 1. My go-to here is that when you are doing your first trial, you must write down observations that are happening during that trial. So if you are blowing bubbles, maybe one bubble gum was harder than the other, you're going to write that down. If you are burning candles, you might be writing, oh, the red one seems to be burning faster, or it's the white one is still at this height. You are writing down things that you are observing. No inferencing, just observing. So all of the facts. So as the boys and girls did the trial, as they were talking, I wrote down some of the things that they said. I checked in every 5 minutes. So if it's something you're watching over time, set a time limit and keep that same time as your check-in. So at 5 minutes, what did we observe? At 10 minutes, what did we observe? 20 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then always on our trials so far, we've done trials 1 and 2, actually 3 yesterday, and we're noticing that between the 20 minute and the 25 is when we're seeing the Skittle actually dissolve. So those were some things to write. So that was my first trial, and then yesterday we did trial 3. I skipped trial 2 on there, but you can see trial 3. I'm writing, it might be some of the same observations I made in trial 1. So I added this section behind my journal entries. I just kind of skipped some pages from the journal and then put another post-it to kind of show that that's a new tab for that. I also am going back to my journal section and writing down. I did trial 1 today. This is what happened during trial 1. I also wrote in my observations. Then we did trial 2. I'm going to write my date down and write trial 2 and write what happened. As you work through the trials, remember, you don't have to do them all in one day. You can spread it out over time. Just keep your variables the same. So I'm using, for mine, we're using the same liquids, same brands every day, and the same containers and the same colored Skittle. So one thing we talked about is if you are growing plants, you're going to use the same type of plant. If you're trying to test the soil, you might change the soil, but you're only changing one thing and trying to see. So actually, I have 5 different liquids. You have to have at least 3. So we talked about, I keep bringing up the bubble gum because that's at the top of my head. Let me see different projects here. If you are melting something, you must have at least 3 different things that you're melting. You can have up to 5. If you are doing a ramp and a ball, you must have 3 different heights at least to go and take data from. Looking here, Daniel doing the explosion and then measuring how much is left. You and Liam, you must use different types of soda. Keep those sodas the same, and we're measuring to see the difference of how much liquid actually stays in, or therefore we would consider the explosion. Kareem, you're doing the water temperature. So I see you're doing cold, warm, and hot. Those are your 3 differences for your variables there. Next week, Next week, I'm going to make a video on how to list your variables, how to track your data. Actually, I wanted to show you that, and then how to turn it into a graph. Remember, we're doing step by step. It doesn't have to be done in one day. You can do it over a period of days. If you skip a full week and then head off to it, then that's fine too. We've done a trial, we skipped a day, then we're doing another one, so ours are kind of spreading out, but you must have 5 trials. So think about, we talked about plants, and some of you I reached out to. That means 15 plants at least. If you are doing the candles, you're gonna melt candles 1 time, put your results, 2 times, your results. It has to be 5 times. So kind of think about spreading out how long is that going to take you on what days to get it done so that you're able to turn these components in of the scientific method at the right time. About tracking data. For our Skittles, it was hard to kind of track data, so all I'm doing right now is writing my observations, and so my experiment is seeing which one dissolves the Skittle the fastest. So we're noticing between the 20-minute and 25-minute mark, when we go to find the Skittle in the water, there is no Skittle. It is completely dissolved. So for our first, actually 3 trials, I need to write that one in, water is the winner. So we talked about what could happen if all of a sudden it was the root beer. Would we talk about some of the things that maybe changed in our lab? Did we shake it? Did we smush it? Did we do anything? Because it would be weird now to have an outlier. So from now, we kind of made an inference as to we're probably going to keep seeing water throughout the first 5 trials, but could there be an outlier where possibly the vinegar goes first or the milk keeps coming in last? So we're doubting that the milk's ever going to dissolve first. So this has been a fun project. We're having a blast in class, and I'm doing all of these things with them in class so that it can help them with their experiment at home. If at any time you have any questions or concerns, please email me. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. I hope that they're helping, and I love being your teacher. Have a wonderful day.